My father had been a truck driver for nearly 5 years. Almost every route he was familiar with, and especially had a very wide relationship. After a long time driving a rental truck, my father talked to my mother about buying and driving a truck on his own to make more money. My mother did not object, but it was not easy to buy a truck because she was a bit worried about finances at the time. My father was thinking about buying a used truck to drive. After talking to my mother and me, my father started going to used truck stores to find out. At that time, garages or used truck shops operated as intermediaries. That was, truck owners would take the truck there and someone would broker to help them. After searching for a while, my father saw a truck that looked very new. He liked it right away. But after asking the price, my father sighed. Its price was slightly different from his original calculation. The salesman saw that my father was just asking and had no intention of buying it because of the high price. So the salesman said that he could recommend a satisfactory truck to my father at an affordable price. Then, the salesman took my father to see a truck he was talking about. The truck the salesman showed my father was new and beautiful. It was painted in a glossy orange color, and most important thing was that its price was very low. The size of the truck also fitted very well in my truck parking lot. Its machinery was also good. My father seemed to be very pleased and satisfied with the truck. After getting inside the truck, he was even more surprised because it was new. This accessory had not been rusted. In general, everything was very good. Another strange thing was that this truck had not run much, proving that this was a very new truck, not a degraded truck. So my father was satisfied and immediately closed the truck with the salesman. He also said that my father was very lucky to have bought it early and wished my father a prosperous business with this truck. Now, this truck was my father's companion on long journeys. He felt very satisfied and regularly cleaned it very meticulously. But on the first day my father drove to work, something happened. I remember that day my mother was cleaning the house when the phone rang. The call was from my father. He said on the phone that he had an accident on his way to work and was in the hospital. When my mother heard the bad news, she couldn't keep her composure and even dropped her phone on the ground. Then she rushed to the hospital to see how my father was doing. My father was sitting on a chair. 2 people were shouting at my father. That was the family member of the person that my father hit the truck with. Fortunately, the person was not seriously injured. When my father got out of the hospital, my mom asked him what was going on. My father said that he did not understand anything. He recounted that he was driving a delivery truck and turning a corner. At that time, my father glanced in the rearview mirror to see the road before turning the truck in. Suddenly, he saw a person walking beside the truck, but there was an absolute safe distance between the truck and that person. When my father reached the bend, a few people ran to the middle of the road to block the truck. They shouted to signal my father to stop the truck. One man said my father's truck hit someone. My father did not know what happened, but to be safe, he quickly braked and stopped the truck. My father quickly jumped out of the truck and approached the man to ask what was wrong. My father said many times that he didn't think he hit that person, but he didn't understand why a man fell on the street like that. That man injured his hand, screaming to ask my father to pay compensation for causing the accident. When he told my mother about it, my father said that the man most likely was trying to rush into the truck to get angry. A week later, my father resumed work as usual. However, a strange incident happened, causing my father to find himself once again in a confusing situation. That day, when my mother was cleaning at home, the phone rang again. When my mother picked up the phone, she was startled to hear that my father had caused an accident again, and this time with a child. The parents of the child went to the traffic police office to resolve the incident in anger. When my mother arrived, she saw my father sitting outside and waiting for the results from the traffic police. When my mother went inside to see the victim's condition, the child's parents were angry. However, the child was unharmed. The child saw his parents scold him. Then he suddenly said something very strange that even my mother could not believe. The child said that he wasn't hit by my father. Someone pulled him under the truck. The boy said that he was walking on the sidewalk that day and he was going to stop by the store to buy something. Hearing the sound of a truck approaching, the child purposely moved to the side with distance enough to keep him safe. The truck was also running at a very slow speed and was very safe. But just as the truck passed him, he suddenly saw a person sticking out from under the truck with very sharp fingernails. The man looked bloodied. His eyes could only see the black irises, and he quickly pulled the child under the truck. When the child told that story, his parents told him not to tell such myths because why was there someone under the truck? While everyone was arguing, the traffic policeman in charge walked in. He said that they got surveillance footage of that stretch of road and asked us to come to see it. It was good that the whole process of the accident was captured so realistically. When my father's truck passed a child, there was indeed a safe certain distance between the two. That distance was too far for my father to cause an accident. Suddenly, the child seemed to be dragged under the truck like on camera, but at this point we didn't see anyone under the truck. The child was like being sucked under the truck. When it was clear, the child's parents took him out of the police office and did not make any further claims. My parents were on their way home when a policeman called back. He asked my father if the truck had to be purchased below market value. Through investigation, that truck was involved in a fatal accident just last month. A young man was hit by a truck, sucked under the truck, and dragged more than 10 meters. After my parents got home, they discussed it many times and decided to sell the unlucky truck. It had been a few years since this happened, and my father still drove someone else's rental truck and never mentioned the idea of buying his own truck anymore.